Welcome to the Boom Bap Kingdom.
Yo, peace and welcome to the Boom Bap Kingdom. We're here and we're super chilling, and I hope you guys are chilling too. Listen, you guys know I picked up this Ableton Push 3 Standalone recently, and I've been rocking with it for about a week, and I have some opinions on it in terms of pros and cons. There are a lot of things to like about it, and then there are some things that I don't like about it. And we will talk about that in this video. So I'm going to start with the cons. What do I not like about Ableton Push 3? Now, I picked up the Ableton Push 3. I did not buy it direct. I bought it from a reseller, brand new. And I also purchased Live 12 Suite, the full edition of Ableton. What I will say is my first negative experience was the authorization process. That process was a pain in the behind, yo. It took a lot of work for me to get Ableton Live, the software, authorized on my studio PC, and as an extension of that, it took some work to get the Push 3 authorized. So the way it works is you buy it, you download it, you install it, and then you authorize it. And by it, I mean Live 12 Suite, the software. So that entails you creating an Ableton Live account, you log in, you register, everything you bought, etc., and then you install it, and then you authorize it. That authorization process was trash for me. It took a lot of work to get things authorized. When I researched it, that is a very common problem that people who have purchased Ableton run into, is authorization. It was just very difficult. It was as if my studio computer was reaching out to their license server and having problems retrieving a license file. So with that said, I opened up a trouble ticket with Ableton support. What they did was, they quickly responded, and I was really impressed with how fast they responded. It was super fast. It was literally same day. They gave me an additional authorization. I emailed Ableton and I let them know that I was able to resolve it, but I wanted them to keep the trouble ticket open because I've only had this for a week and I've been working with it, and I really just want things to be seamless. So for me, the biggest con is the authorization process, and that seems to be like a common problem. My second biggest con is the learning curve. Now, you guys know I am a Force user. I have various other sampler sequencers in here. My DAW of choice is Reaper. I am not an Ableton user. Way back in the days, I used Ableton Live Lite version 6. So my Ableton knowledge is super duper limited. With that being said, the learning curve on the Standalone Push 3 does exist. You will see some similarities between other sampler sequencers like the Force and Machine Plus. There are some similarities because a lot of companies adopted that clip-based workflow. That is Ableton's bread and butter. They started and invented that workflow. Other companies adopted it. I happen to have a Machine Plus and a Force, and they have a similar workflow, but they are still very different. The learning curve for me is like the sequencer is quite different. They're, like setting the timing on the sequencer, it's just a little different. So I have to get used to that. The way I work is when I turn on a machine, I have a very basic, like almost a template that I follow, a workflow template. It's almost like a checklist. So when I turn on the machine, I create the new project, I set the tempo, set my pattern length. I have like a little mental checklist that I follow. And knowing where to go on the Push 3 to go through my mental checklist is a learning curve. I'm getting over that, but it does exist. So the two big cons for me was the authorization process and the learning curve, just learning the workflow of the machine. Now, with that said, with the cons out of the way, let me get into the pros. The reason why I wanted an Ableton Push 3 was because I always wanted one since Push 2. I didn't buy one back then because I'm not really a controller, computer, beatmaker, producer. That's not the workflow that I prefer. I prefer to work on a standalone unit and then dump that beat into the DAW. That's my preferred workflow. If Push 2 was standalone, I would have absolutely picked one up, but I really didn't care for MPC Studio. I had one of those. My 4000 blew that out the water, you know, among other things, because the 4000 is still, to me, the best MPC ever. That whole computer controller workflow, not for me. I am a standalone guy, and I do love when a standalone has a computer software component to it, because that gives you the best of both worlds. You can create your beat initially on the standalone, you can dump things into the software component, maybe tweak it, dump it back. Like, I do like that workflow. I don't leverage it as much as I should in, say, Machine Plus, but that's going to change going forward. I'm going to leverage both the hardware and the software going forward, because I think that when you do these things, you put more tools in your toolbox. For me, the Push 3 is more of an instrument. I knew it would bring my game up to another level, but I also knew I would have to learn the unit. So a pro is the fact that it is a flagship. I believe that it is the most powerful sampler sequencer on the market. That's my opinion. Everybody is going to have their own opinion, and opinions differ, and you're absolutely entitled to your opinion. Some people will think the XSE is the best. Some people will think Machine Plus is the best. I think that from a sheer power perspective, when you combine the power of the hardware with the power of the software, you're looking at the pinnacle. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I wanted to add that to the Boom Bap Kingdom. I wanted a super high-powered flagship device, and I feel like I got it. The other pro for me is the MPE. I think that the MPE capability will add flavor and nuance to your beats and your, you know, just your samples and your sounds, etc. You don't go overboard with it, but if you know how to sprinkle it here and there, it's going to give me a live flavor, some feel that I think I may have been missing to some degree. I do have a Roly keyboard. I have the Roly software. Roly is incredible. The MPE on that is incredible. And I tend to use that when I'm sound designing. Having that addition is a plus for me. So now I can do it when I'm actually programming my beats out. The other pro for me is the power of Ableton Live 12. So when I picked up my Push 3, I bought Live 12 Suite, and that's the whole 9 yards, and that's super powerful. All the packs that it comes with, etc., etc. I have to say, it very, very dope. Their sounds are next level. To me, the companies that make the best sounds are Roland and Ableton. Third for me would be Native Instruments. So I think those packs are super duper incredible in terms of how they actually sound. And Ableton, again, I think is at the pinnacle of that. Those are my cons and my pros. Now, the biggest question is, who is push 3, 4. I'm going to tell you off the rip, if you're a beat maker, right? You're still digging in the crates, you're chopping up samples off vinyl or CD, and you're just sample based, and you're making your whole beat that way, and you're putting it out there. This is not for you. It's absolutely not for you. If you're kind of using plugins and just kind of playing and along with your beat, not for you. Who this is for is the producer that wants to become more of a musician and composer. Meaning, this is for the person that wants to learn music theory. In order to get the best out of this device, you really need to learn music theory. So I play bass, and if you play guitar or bass or keyboard, and you have some basic music theory under your belt, like I need to actually build on what I know. I need to really super beef it up to be super nice on this joint, because this thing is a full-on instrument. It is not a groove box. When you think MPC, Machine Plus, SP1200, 2400, you can just keep naming them. Those are sample sequencer groove boxes. They're dope. They do what they do very well, but they are not instruments. When you think instrument, think Phantom EX, think the Korg workstations, think, even MPC Key. That's more of an instrument than a sampler sequencer is. And this is absolutely the pinnacle of that. It's more of an instrument. So if you're sound designing, if you're looking to add music theory to your workflow, this is for you. If you're just a sample sequencer beat maker, absolutely not for you. So with that being said, yes, I got some heat for you guys. Not a finished joint like I normally do with the BBK salute, because I'm still learning. But I'm going to show you guys why I added this to my workflow. And I do believe it's going to bring me up to another level. Come on, bro. I mean, just, yo, just wait. The God is coming. I'm coming. So, yo, with that, I'm going to leave you guys with a BBK salute. Peace.